Hello everyone and welcome. Yes, my name is Arafire and welcome back to another episode of Look Out and Shout. And today we're back with another review. It's been a while since I've done one, but this figure that I've recently got, not necessarily a new figure, is just something I had to talk about. But before we start that, just a quick shout out to the new subscribers who have joined my channel recently. Thank you very much for hitting that subscribe button. It's great to have you along. There's been a few of you recently, and don't forget there is a special video coming at 250 subscribers, so keep an eye out for that one. And so today we will be reviewing Fanstoys Soveriegn. Oh, Sovereign, my Sovereign. Yes, their version of Galvatron. Now, this is, first of all, a very big box. And this is a figure that came out in 2016. But this is a very good figure and one that I just had to get a hold of. Really, it was Quietus, the Fanstoys Cyclonus, that really made me want to get this. But it is just a masterpiece of a figure in every sense of the word. But let's have a look at what you get inside with the box first. So it comes with some polystyrene. Who doesn't love polystyrene? And again, I love the fact that it actually has the Fanstoys number on it, FT16. 16? Are we that far back? Aren't they looking at 50 now with their Fortress Maximus? Good God. So within the box you get his typical cannon, which looks very good, very cartoon inspired with a solid orange. You also get a more translucent one, which in the light actually looks quite good. I'm not normally a fan of them being translucent, but this one actually works quite well, particularly in the light. Now interestingly, you have to fold out the bottom, and then I think it's a case of folding out the top section and you swivel around to get the back section, which I guess is more for transformation and packaging mode, but that is quite a nice cannon. I think it was DX9's version of Galvatron that had a very metallic-y shine to the cannon, which I thought looked really good and would look really good on this figure as well. You also get this rather obscene looking blast effect going on, and that's quite something, isn't it? Which obviously would plug into there and look like a mass weapon of destruction, which is great, but I can't help but think that's really going to weigh it down. That's proper, I don't know, got my own little touch. And you get your own matrix as well, on a nice little chain, which he can wear around his neck. And also you get an alternative face. Now I don't know if you can see on this one, but I've actually swapped this one out. This is what he typically comes with. It's just a very normal, uninspired face. He's got his more angry face on at the moment, but this is really giving off some Squid Game frontman vibes, wouldn't you say? Within we also have card and instructions. We will be needing that, but here is the figure himself, and this is a very, very heavy figure. I can see why the box is the size that it is. This has got a lot of die cast to it, and I thought their version of Silverbolt, their Maverick, was bad, or heavy I should say. This is so hefty, way more so than Quietus is. But again, it is a gorgeous figure in a much more Toon-inspired purple than say a blue of the movie. Now I've picked this one up second hand, so of course this has got a Decepticon sticker on it already. But it is a very, very good figure. I mean, just first impressions is wonderful. It's so well proportioned, particularly the chest. I cannot explain enough how much metal is in this figure. I even love his shoes. I always felt these are like very nice, swanky shoes, very 1950s American swag going on there. Blue suede shoes even. But this does look really good. The first impressions are just wonderful. Again, I've put the angry face on there if the light will reflect, and I really do feel that gives him such an angry, angry presence. And here he is with his cannon attached, and that is just a very complete image with the angry face as well. It's just got so much heft and presence and vibe, very much what you expect from a Fanstoys figure. It's wrong to think that Fanstoys only do belters and only knock it out of the park every time, but when you hold this sort of stuff, this premium quality, and God, he's a lot of money, and we'll get to that, but this really is worth it. This is where you look at other things. I mean, previously I had the open and play Galvatron, and when you get something like this in your hand, you think, yeah, this is a class above. It's everything you want from a masterpiece Galvatron. And the cannons can go on both arms, of course, and if you really want to make it unfair, you can stick on both cannons. Why not? Why the bloody hell not? There will be one thing I would say, is that the connections for plugging them in onto his arm, you can see they're just at the tip of my thumb. Very short, very stumpy, and the pegs of course aren't too deep either, so it does pop in and pop out very easily. Just would have liked that to have been a little bit longer, but I guess if it was longer, more chance of breakage, who knows. I will just point out, to get the different face on, you really do better to turn this head the entire way around, which for some reason gets really stiff as you get round to the back. There's a screw at the back there, which you end up unscrewing with a micro screwdriver. That takes off the back of the head, which the front of the head then comes off, and then you just slide out the face, sliding this one on in its place. So it doesn't particularly tell you that in the instructions though, and that's quite interesting. But just to go through some articulation with you, so you get like these kind of double friction joints. You've got a softer ratchet on the shoulder going out, but there's also like a butterfly element when you move outwards, or a harder ratchet going out left and right. Pretty good there. Good rotation under the shoulder, and Galvatron on the shoulders, we can talk about that all day long. Bend at the elbow and a bend at the wrist, so you really do get this kind of shaking fist attitude, which you can see works really well. He's just got a lot. He's got a waist swivel on a ratchet. That's lovely. Isn't that wonderful? And then of course you've got the legs, which again, I cannot express enough how much metal is in this. Ratchet going upwards, the shin pads do get in the way. Soft ratchet going outwards, but doesn't go too far. And ratchet going back again, not all that far. And hefty knee bend. Hefty knee bend. With again, big heavy hinges in between. And a very nice, more of a foot tilt than an ankle tilt. But he will hold his weight. There's a more dedicated ankle swivel. So you get an ankle and a foot tilt, so you can really go for it. But I imagine that's much more for transformation. So poses for this figure are really whatever you desire it to be. You probably have to proportion it right to the weight, as again, there is a lot of metal to it. But he will stand, and he particularly will hold an aggressive pose. And all transformed up, you'll get something that looks like that. And it is a involved transformation, but not unenjoyable. It is quite satisfying when you get things into the right place, and the instructions are fairly straightforward. But like with typical Fanstoys, the engineering is heavy. The legs are a little bit of a nightmare because there's such heavy ratchets, heavy joints in them. I'm not certain I've got everything right, even following the instructions. You can just see here these pegs on the top of what would be his shoulders. In robot mode, they're supposed to click absolutely down on top of these black parts, and I can't for the life of me get that in. It doesn't fight you, but it doesn't make it easy for you either. But it is a really good looking alt mode for Galvatron. As I say, looking at the, I'm sure it's DX9 with the metallic-y coloured cannon, that would look really good in this mode. But there's no question that this is probably one of the better Galvatron turret modes out there. And it's a bit of a rubbish alt mode, it always has been, because he just stands there and shoots. But then again, it's got a lot of colour to it, and the transformation is fun. I can't say it's not. And just so you can see, this is what it looks like with the translucent cannon instead. Again, catches the light really well. I mean, that is just ridiculous. Honestly. I won't have time to get too many comparison pictures done to show you before the end for this video going live, but I will put some pictures up on my Instagram in the coming days. If you guys want to check that out, I'll do them alongside the likes of Quietus, Megatron, or even Ultra Magnus to give you a bit of a flavour. But yeah, this is a very good alt mode, a very good representation of a very hefty Galvatron. Final thoughts with the figure is as follows. Now, it's a very, very good figure. It has its typical Fanstoys problems in that you are paying through the nose for it. This and Quietus often fetch a price of in the realms of £200, maybe even £300 if you're very unlucky. And this is a figure that's now 5 years old. I wouldn't say it's now out of date, but you're still paying a lot of money for a figure that's not brand new anymore. You've got to think with current Fanstoys design and engineering, are you paying quite a bit of money for outdated tech? That's up for debate. I think the figure is great. It fits into any Masterpiece collection. It really does work for the movie vibe. I would like to see, for a comparison in hand anyway, what the T version, I think it is, the more of the movie colouring, the blue, the metallic blue versus the deeper purple. Maybe I would prefer that over this. It's difficult to say. This is still a very lovely paint job, and it is a very good representation of Galvatron. Things from the angry face to the accessories to the posability to the sheer heft. You do feel you are getting bang for your buck, it's just a lot of buck. But what do I give this as my final review? No beating around the bush here. I'll simply give it 4 Rodimus style badges out of 5. And the big deduction is the price. And I feel like I pull up Fanstoys a lot for that. But until their prices get a bit more sensible, maybe I'll just have to keep deducting them. It's a very good figure. I do recommend it, particularly if you are a masterpiece collector. But do be prepared for your wallet to get a bit of a bashing. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you on the next one.